Welcome aboard the Seatbelt Sign podcast. We've been cleared for takeoff.
What's up, everybody? Back for another episode today. I have my man, Chris. This is one of my oldest friends. I met this kid when he was 10 years old, and now he is an instructor for the 737 at United. Me and Chris go way back, and we're going to get into some pilot shit. He's going to be a recurring guest on the pod now. What's up, Chris? It's great to see you, bud.
How's it going, man? Great
Dude, I'm
here.
so pumped that you're in North Carolina right now. We talked about this, and you literally just jumped on a plane, and you're like, I could be there on Thursday, dog. And here you are.
We made it happen, man. We made it happen.
Dude, I'm pretty pumped. I was looking forward to this for a while because you got to meet my doggy. You got to see my girlfriend.
We got to fly gusty winds.
Dude, we got to fly a plane today. We're going to fly another plane tomorrow.
Yeah.
Dude, that's what's dope is you are the biggest airplane nerd that I've ever met in my whole life. We are sitting back watching.
Oh, I'll take that as a compliment.
We are watching landing compilations right now, and I just told you I cannot distinguish any airliner at all, and you know every single one. Like, you are...
I don't know about every single one, but...
Dude, you one day told me how to distinguish it between this type and that type, because you're like, you see that little flap? The landing gear on the other plane looks different than that flap right there. And I was like, dude, that thing's at 10,000 feet. I can't even see shit. It impresses me a lot, dude. I don't know.
It's slight levels of autism.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And dude, because my brother-in-law, I was about to say this. he gave me a coffee table book of military aircraft. He is also in the military. Pretty cool guy. He does. He used to do like rockets, so they also kind of understand flight plan, like they know top of descent and things like that. But anyways, dude, I was like, oh, I like this jet, and he was like, oh, that's by Lockheed. That wasn't by this other, and he could just flip right to it, and he knew everything that you know about airliners, about like every military aircraft. And I'm just like, dude,
Nice.
I can only distinguish Piper and Cessna because it's high wing or low wing.
Oh, come on. No, you can do better than that.
No, man, for real. Like, I was talking to who's another member of the pod, and he knows them all too. And I was like, dude, I feel like the stupidest airplane nerd out there because I don't know how to distinguish any aircraft types. And it's, anyways.
So should we talk about our adventure for tomorrow?
Yeah, dude. Sure. Let's tell the people. So, we are going to head over to BQ1, which is a very small runway here in North Carolina. It's like, I don't know, 2,800 feet or 3,000, but it's also not properly aligned with any wind. You have to do a wind study. So for 10 years, you look at your local area and figure out where are the predominant winds, right? Well, these people did not do that. They just said, we have this plot of land, and if we go from this corner to this corner, we can build the longest runway.
With tall trees at either end.
With tall trees at either end, and they made this thing like the width of a golf cart path, okay? It is quite narrow because they just have a backwoods barbecue restaurant out there, and it's delicious Carolina barbecue, and it's freaking awesome. And, people fly in, and...
Yeah, you got to slip it in on final.
Yeah,
and,
it's pretty sick.
Slip into some good barbecue with some great sauce.
Yeah, you fell in love with that place. I heard about it first on a podcast, Pilot to Pilot podcast.
Yeah, shout out to Justin.
Heck
man.
yeah, who's also a North Carolina native. He freaking told me about BQ1 basically on the pod, and then I was like, yo, Chris, this place looks crazy. We should go.
Yeah, we ended up going with another buddy of ours. We fly 150s to Taco Tuesdays in Florida. So flying to go and eat is our thing.
And the 150, of course.
Yes, in the 150.
It's so fun.
And tomorrow we're taking...
A 172.
A 172.
Only because you're a little too heavy for the baggage in the 150.
It's all the emotional baggage, brother.
I know. You gotta leave it behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. We're gonna go simultaneously teach and take a student over there, student pilot. It's gonna be dope.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah, like you said, slipping it in. They're gonna be learning that for sure tomorrow. It's gonna be a little. We'll see.
Yeah. If it's anything like today's winds, we're gonna earn our barbecue.
Yeah. Oof. But,
yeah.
Dude, Chris. So, like I said, we met when we were about 10. Our parents flew an airline together.
Yes.
And from a little kid, you kind of always knew that you wanted to be a pilot. I mean, there's freaking pictures of you wearing your dad's uniform as like 3-year-old kid, you know?
Yeah. It's been a great ride. My whole family is generations of aviation. My mom was a flight attendant. My dad was a pilot, recently retired. A beautiful, almost 40-year career. And my grandfather from my dad's side was a pilot for the airlines. flying the old 747s for Singapore Airlines back in the days of the KTAC approach, if you know what that is.
Blow my mind, but continue.
And then my other grandfather from my mom's side, he was a military pilot flying Lancasters for the Royal Air Force. And so, yeah.
You have aviator in your blood. You couldn't fight it.
Aviator is a heavy word, man. I don't know if aviator is the word, but I'll fake it till I make it. Someday, maybe I make it.
Bro, you're flying big boy jets. You're working at a really nice airline. So, yeah, you're right there. You're right there.
I'm loving it. So far, I'm loving it.
Well, dude, that's where like we differ a bit because my mom met my stepdad because he was her flight instructor.
Yeah.
And, my dad, Carlos, is who flew with your dad, Lewis. And as a freaking 10-year-old kid bouncing around the back of 172, I thought that was just like normal. You know, as a kid, you don't know what normal is. So, I was just like, I can't play Pokemon up there because the batteries died. So I got to sleep in the back of 172. You know, like I never gave a shit. I thought like all kids, their parents were just like, yeah, also taking flight, whatever.
Sit on this flotation device and fly this airplane at 5,000 feet.
Yeah. So to me, aviation always just felt like super normal. And also I would travel with my mom a lot because I had a free companion pass on Southwest, which is so dope. My mom is a single mom, So yeah, dude, like to me, aviation just seems so normal. I never really ever thought about being a pilot, even though my brother's an air traffic controller. My grandfather's a fighter pilot. My dad worked at Miami Center. Carlos is a, airline guy with you. And then my mom goes and gets flying lessons. And dude, it never even occurred to me until I was like 28.
Yeah. Officially, like everybody in your family has now flown an airplane.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. No doubt. Yeah. It's crazy. But, yeah, dude, I don't know. We were talking about this in the car, wishing that I could have started earlier, but at the same time, my trajectory in life, it was going somewhere else. Like aviation was never even a thought. And then just one day.
Yeah. I think we spoke about it, but everybody's reoccurring theme when it comes to aviation is they wish they started younger. But it's all about delayed gratification in this career. So
it is, dude, 100%.
You make it to where you think you need to be whenever you're ready, and life lets you in.
I think that that's a good point you got there, though. Like eating humble pie all the time, I think that's the difference between like happy pilots and then guys that are like grumpy.
Yeah. And also how you present yourself. I think you had somebody in your podcast saying that every day is an interview.
Yeah.
In aviation. I love that line.
That's my boy, Matt. I'm so proud of that kid.
Yeah. Shout out to, that was a DPE kid, right?
No, Matt, he went to like a big box school, a local school,
Oh, that's what it
141,
was. Yeah.
And they promise everybody that you're going to be an instructor. And he actually did get the job, and he flew through hours and got hired on. And he's a captain of a PC-12 right now, racking up time.
Yeah.
And he's 20.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it, man.
Actually, no, I'm sorry. He turned 21 like the day we did that podcast. So sorry. Shout out to Matt, though. Fucking killing it, buddy. Proud of you.
Yeah. Every day is an interview. That's the slogan of the aviation title today.
I love it. Yeah. Because, if you figure out how to enjoy the suck of the delayed gratification of years of grind, it kind of makes you happy to be in the suck,
Yeah, you feel like you deserve it just a tiny bit more.
Yeah.
And it also, I think, prepares you better for the unexpected things that aviation throws at you sometimes, because at the end of the day, we're really getting paid to manipulate when things go wrong and not in reality when everything is going right.
Yeah. Yeah, we're always planning for the worst and grateful that nothing went wrong when we get there.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. So let's take it back to, just so people that don't know you, let's take it back to the beginning when you got started with aviation training. You got to South Florida, and how old were you and what year? And let's tell it all.
I was, let's see, maybe 22. So you can say that I started later in aviation in comparison to other individuals that start and get their solo at 16. But I went to Florida, the west coast of Florida, in a small school owned and operated by a former Top Gun Navy pilot that opened this awesome little mom and pop flight school. Both of them, him and his wife, were DPEs. So I had 2 DPEs on staff. They had a grass runway and a paved runway, so all my short field landings were actually short and my soft field landings were actually soft, while having a towered airport pretty close by. So it was great. It was exactly what I needed. Got all my ratings there, and then got lucky, and they gifted me after after going through the ratings and aerobatic course. Kind of fell in love with the whole tail wheel and aerobatics and being upside down.
Dude, I got invited the day after I got my commercial, but I was also slightly hungover. It only lasted like 20 minutes. And the maneuver,
Yeah.
I completely did it wrong. I was like squeezing my head instead of squeezing my stomach. So I was literally making the blood leave faster.
Nice.
And I told my homie, I was like, Brett, we got to land. Like, I'm about to yak. And I was done.
What? Please tell me it was a YAG on an aircraft. Which aircraft was
No,
it?
I jumped. Oh, it was a super decathlon.
Okay, there is an aerobatic aircraft called the Yak.
Oh, no.
And that would have been
Yeah,
great
yak
that you
and
were
the
flying
yak.
that. Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
But I didn't yak. Thank God. But
Good.
I was like, and then we did go back up for 20 more minutes. But man, I wanted to love it so bad because I love snowboarding and skateboarding and mountain biking.
Mhm.
And I was like, that would be so dope. And dude, I just don't think I have the stomach for it. Unfortunately.
No, I think that's a developed skill. I mean, I think you need to, they call it vitamin G. You just got to work on that vitamin G and just be consistently being exposed to it.
The other thing too is I have a couple of concussions, dude, and like doing spins and shit. Like I don't think I should rattle my head too much more, or I'm gonna be like filling out forms with crayons, dude. Like,
Dude, when people tell me that they get sick in an aircraft, I just if they know anything about the history of aviation, I just tell them that Bob Hoover, notoriously one of the best pilots ever created in mankind, would get constantly sick at the beginning of his flight training.
oh yeah,
And he just continued exposing himself to it and got through it and became one of the best pilots ever.
yeah, doing those crazy aerobatics.
Yeah. So I got my licenses there, and then I always wanted to be a flight instructor. For me, it wasn't really a means to an end. It was more of a desire.
An actual desire.
Yeah, an actual desire. So got super lucky and started instructing in a seaplane base called Jack Brown Seaplane Base down in South Florida.
Yeah, and let's just TO for just a second there, because you kind of strategically had that in your mind, like as you're going through flight school, if I remember the story correctly. Like you were like, I want to go be a CFI. I see that it's a crowded market. So mom, dad, can I go get a seaplane rating because I want to be a seaplane instructor? And kudos to you, motherfucker, because dude, all the people that you like, so many people that you taught were already great pilots. Like I remember you were like, oh, I flew with this captain from UPS today. He just wanted to come and get a seaplane rating.
And he retired number 4 in the seniority list.
Woo!
Flying left seat of a 747.
Dollar bill, y'all.
Yeah. That was an amazing. My parents gifted me, after getting all my ratings, a seaplane rating, and I knew I wanted to do it. Even when I got my private pilot, I was like, my goal is to be an instructor. And
kudos to you, bro, because I was so against it. And Carlos the whole time was like, son, you have to go get a CFI or you fucking won't advance. And then one day it did click. But I was also a snowboard instructor before, and then once I kind of changed my mind and I actually did desire to be a CFI, dude, it's been the coolest thing ever. Like, and I'll tell you, I flip-flopped on both, so I always try to tell people, like, you should try to get it.
Yeah, most of the time, in my mind, the reality is it's the art of teaching and not really the art of what you're sharing or what field you're doing it.
Yeah.
As long as you can actually describe things and teach with some passion. It could be whatever, engineering, lawyer, architect, whatever. This one just so happens to be in aviation.
Yeah, I have 2 CFI candidates right now. Young kids, like 19, 20. And we're going over the fundamentals of instruction.
Yeah.
And literally, I opened the page of the first chapter, first line in bold. It says, aircraft instruction is more about people than it is about aircraft knowledge.
Yeah, totally. One of my mentors always said that you're 70% psychologist, 20% teacher, 10% pilot.
Yeah, my DP said it's 80% you're just babysitting them and 20% teaching.
Yes. Yeah.
Letting them have their own guided discovery.
Yeah, exactly. So I got super lucky, got the seaplane rating, and was so obsessed with teaching that the now owner of Jack Brown Seaplane Base, shout out to Ben Ships, awesome guy. He gave me a shot, and to this day, I still instruct there as a part-timer now. But that opened the doors to be able to go and fly in Alaska. And so I did Alaska for about 3 years, flying beavers on floats over there, and fell in love with it. But it came to the realization that float jobs gets you more float jobs, and I still wanted that shiny jet syndrome. So I got lucky again, and in the meantime of the off seasons of Alaska, I'd be living in Florida and working flight instructing on land airplanes while working part-time at a simulator company called Simcom, which is now owned by CAE. And what I was doing there was seat support on the Citation products, as well as translating from Spanish-speaking crews to English, and doing sim pre-flight technician stuff. So,
dude, okay, I know. I want to chronologize like all of your different things.
There was a point that I was having 4 jobs and sleeping some days of the week in my car.
It's so funny because in this moment, I'm like dragging my ass, getting private. I got in private. I'm instrument, and now I'm probably like working on my commercial. And you're working at Simcom, and you told me, you're like, oh yeah, I gave some instruction here, and then your job was mostly at night at Simcom, right?
Yeah,
what were
from
the hours?
12 o'clock to 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
It was the sim pre-flight tech stuff.
And I was like, dude, what the hell? You're burning the candle at both ends. You're going to be dead by the time you're like 35 because you weren't sleeping, and you're like instructing in the day, and then like, a little side gig in the evening, flying some multi or whatever, and then you run off to Simcom. And I was like, dude, you slept like 3 hours in your car, and then the next day you had like that same schedule just stacked.
Yeah, so I would sleep in my car about 3 days a week, even though I had a beautiful home, nice and comfortable bed. I could save an hour and a half total of sleep time added by just sleeping in the parking lot of the seaplane base. So I can have more time to sleep instead of driving. Because it would be about an hour drive each way to get to the seaplane base. So it was totally, totally worth it. I would do it again, but it was tiring at times.
No shit, dude. That is some serious hustle.
Yeah. So that I guess that hustling, quote unquote, allowed me to meet some really good people that after my last season at Alaska put me in contact with somebody that needed a right seater on a Gulfstream. And so obviously I said yes to that, and I started as a right seater on a G4 based out of LA area. And it was a worldwide service charter 135-91 type of operation, which was amazing, honestly. And 11 months after that, I upgraded to the left seat, became a captain, which I didn't really want it to do that.
That quickly? Or
yeah, that quickly. It felt to me that was relatively quick. I don't know. It felt like a lot to chew on, right?
No
and
doubt.
You need in my mind, I was going to eat an elephant one bite at a time. So I did that, and then got super lucky again, and they got me on the G5 and 550. And so I was flying those airplanes worldwide, met some awesome people, flew with some great individuals to some awesome destinations, and then I applied to United, and it was kind of the only airline that I applied to. I was pretty happy in corporate, so it was either United or bust when it comes to the airline world. And again, I got super lucky. They called and started flying the 737 out of O'Hare for United, which was amazing.
Yeah, man. I remember that day because it was during COVID, and the pinning ceremony was all like virtual.
Yeah.
And dude,
yeah,
we were watching it. It was dope. It was so cool. I was like, no way.
The half-wing ceremony, they call it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because when you're a brand new pilot at United, the union gives you a half-wing for the first year of probation. And once you have a year in the company, you become a full-wing ALPA member of the union. So it's a pretty neat celebration and ceremony. It's really cool.
Nice. Well, you've already gotten your full wing, right?
Yes. I got my full wing. I started in the right seat of the 7-3 out of O'Hare. I was told early in my career by some really good people that I needed to do 5 things when I got hired into United. And 2 of those were to go to the 737 out of O'Hare. If I could do that base and that airplane in that seat with a pissed off captain and a grumpy flight attendant, I could do any airplane, any base with no issues.
Do you find that to be good, truthful knowledge?
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. Really, O'Hare, being as complex as it is, really prepares you for any other field as to listening up on the frequencies and the amount of frequency changes that you have to go through for one of their 10 runways that they can change and assign in a hard's noticed. And then the other one was not to commute your first year if you can avoid it. So I temporarily got a rental place in Chicago. And then the other two were don't drink more than you need to and please don't sleep with anybody in the company. So those were the 5.
Wow.
The 5 advice that I got when I got hired.
Yeah, those last 2 are pretty important.
Yeah, and I followed them all to the T.
Nice, bro. I think that's good. You know, it's funny too because everybody thinks like New York, living a New York lifestyle, like, you know, people don't have cars and shit. But sitting here realizing like you don't have a car, you're kind of living that New York life in Chicago. Yeah.
It's been 3 years since I've owned a car.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, so I use what they call the L. So the blue line takes me straight shot from downtown Chicago to O'Hare.
Literally, like from your main floor of your building, right?
Yeah.
Isn't there like a station right there?
I live very close to the station.
That's crazy.
Yep.
That's nice.
Then after that, I transferred over to the 757 and 767, based out of Newark to do back to European flying and international stuff. And that was really, really cool. Really enjoyed it. And then got super lucky again, man, and applied to this instructor job at United, which is also still one of my dreams when I got hired there. I saw some other people early on in my career that was doing that. They were doing that job, and I was like, I'm all about that. And I got called. I couldn't believe I got called. I went through the whole interview process just as I did when I got hired at United. And they called me back, and I was like, yeah, for sure. I want to do this. So, yeah, it's a definite learning curve, but it's the best job in the world.
Yeah, I know. It's recent, and you're still pretty excited about it, a little imposter syndrome. But it's like I was telling you, man, you've always hustled hard, dude. I mean, all that stuff that you just rattled off, like that, any one of those periods could be somebody's career. And not just that, but you told me a hilarious story that I never heard recently. You said while you're working in flight school, you're also working in construction, that you fell through a roof.
Yeah, not the most proud moment, but yeah, dude, I had a family friend that's a general contractor, and he could have used some help, and I could have used the money. And so we kind of...
Yeah, because you're like 22, 21?
I was 24, 23, 24, something along that line. And he did a little bit of everything: electrician, plumbing, roofing. And in this particular one, we were in an attached garage that we built, and I was standing in the roof and stepped in a place that didn't really have the support and went right through it. And funny enough, I saw the gentleman that witnessed that, the general contractor that I just mentioned. That garage had a vintage Camaro. Old school Camaro that lived under that roof, and just so happened that day he went out on a Sunday morning ride, and that's the day that I went through
the roof. So good thing you didn't fuck up the car.
Correct. That would have been bad, man.
Don't even worry about your ankles or nothing. You were worried about that guy's car, dude.
Correct. Liability.
That's so funny.
Everything in the United States. Liability.
That's so funny, dude.
Yeah.
All right, so when you're going through flight school, where was your, as they say, the plateau of learning? Where was your moment that you struggled?
Learning how to do an instrument, doing a VOR approach off the field. That you had to time out and go out on a radio and start a timer, and then that was the point that you were like, okay, at this point, at this time, at this altitude, I'm supposed to see this in front of me. And understanding the whole omnidirectional beacon stuff, and the VOR was a challenge.
Bro, thank God you did your shit so long ago. That's not that's not at all part of instrument check right anymore at all, dude.
Oh my God,
you can you can just do 3 GPS approaches. The ACS allows for 3 GPS approaches now.
Wow, yeah.
And an LPV is in the ACS considered to be precision, so that there is one.
So you have to do an LPV and an LNAV VNAV.
Right? And then you can just do like an LNAV, with
vertical speed or whatever, or
partial panel.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, see, for example, I remember
VOR, dude. The only part of the instrument check ride with VOR is, can you center the needle and start heading towards the VOR? That's it, dude. That's all they ask you.
No, dude. They taught me. Also, my instructor was amazing. My instructor was a former nuclear engineer that became a flight instructor, and this gentleman he was as old as my grandfather. Right, and he took me under his wing, and this guy taught me how to do NDB approaches with a movable card. Wow. And I never knew that, for example, you needed to be listening to the frequency on a speaker, just so you know if the sound, the Morse code, if the Morse code stopped, you knew that it was off service, and you couldn't use that NDB approach anymore, and you had to go missed. And those are the stuff that I had no clue. Okay.
Yeah, dude, because you're over there putting floppy disks in airplanes, dude. What the hell?
Okay. I'm not that old, man.
I mean, but you're flying with grandfather time over there. And
I was.
Cessna 172 that you had to put like diesel in.
And you mentioned partial panel, dude. I haven't done a partial panel at least in 8 years.
But honestly, nowadays with glass cockpit, partial panel is silly.
Yeah, but still, I still remember, like, you remember Unos?
Yeah, Unos and hands.
Undershoot north, overshoot south.
I just took my advanced ground instructor. These are literally questions that I had to answer.
There you go.
It says, if you are in the Eastern Hemisphere and you are flying westbound,
yes,
what error can you expect?
Oh my God! And you see the picture, and you're like, this picture is
south.
from like 70 years ago.
Dude, Martha King, dude. John and Martha King were like there.
The
they were the ones that printed those pictures for the FAA, and they were like, here,
yeah. Oh my God, man! Yeah, they was good times. We listened to John and Martha King at Sun and Fun. I think we saw like one of their last talks. And we saw them and shook his hand, and we took a picture with them and everything. And
the best part is now, if you get Instrument King School for the instrument course, there's like one video where Martha King, she starts out, she's like, this is ADF. This is NDB VOR. And then she's like, this is an LDAV. And then like, this is LDAV. And then, dude, she's like 80. And she's like, now there's LPV. And you see her age like 60 years in an 8-minute video. It's hilarious.
And I think she still
he doesn't. He lost
his medical. Yeah, but I think she still flies. And they fly their, Falcon 10, I think is they have. They own a jet.
Those two are such badasses.
Yeah, they're amazing. They're amazing.
I mean, they made, the original flight school at home. My mom had those VHS tapes that we watched in the 90s.
Nice.
It was King's or it wasn't. It was King's or a textbook.
Oh, yeah. But, dude, those videos cured depression. I'm telling you, those videos when I was in flight school, living with roommates in a house next to an airport, that they would put me to sleep, and that was comforting, and that was dopamine in sleepy form.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So you are a young kid, you're all by yourself in South Florida. You're living in a house with how many other students?
It was the school owned 4 homes. Each home had 4 bedrooms, and there was 2 people per bedroom.
Oh shit, dude.
Yeah. And they were all foreign people: Chinese, Koreans, Indonesian. Some of my best friends are flying now for like the flagship carriers, like Garuda for Indonesia or China. They're killing it. So,
and I don't think this is rude to say, but all of those foreign folks, you had a house with a lot of interesting scents in it. Am I right?
Yes.
There was some smells in the house. Plus, you're all boys. You ain't showering every day. Y'all getting sweaty as fuck and just passing out, dude. Stink ass shoes everywhere.
I had a Chinese roommate of mine that he would have one set of chopsticks, one bowl, and one glass, and one cup. One glass. He would clean that once a week.
What the fuck?
And that's all he used.
Oh god, dude. What the fuck? Yo, that's some frat life, dude. I'm gonna tell you, that's the same as frat life. It's just a bunch of dirty, sweaty guys.
But I enjoyed it, man. That was some of my best times in my career. So
yeah, because all your family was still in India at that time, right?
Yes. My dad at the time was flying for Air India, and we all used to live in India, but I came here to the United States for flight school. And kind of never looked back. Dude,
that is such a balls to the wall. Because you literally went halfway around the world as a 20-year-old kid. And you're like, okay, well, if I fuck up, I lost.
Yeah. Well, for those that don't know, I'm originally from Venezuela, so I was not born in India, but my dad got an amazing contract flying for the flagship carrier over there, and so we all left as a family to go to India, and they spent, I think, about 17 years in India.
Yeah, and you were there for long enough. I mean,
4 years.
Yeah, you know some language. You're not fluent, but
I'll know if they're talking shit about me.
You know that, and dude, I mean, you can blend in because you can do the sacred head bob, dude.
Yeah,
you can crush the Indian head bob,
my friend.
dude. You know that.
Yeah.
It is such a hard skill, dude. I cannot do the fucking gimbal head bob, dude.
You got to think of a gyro. You
I
got
know,
to
that's
think of
what I'm saying.
gyroscopic precession.
Yeah, bro. That's basic concept for a smart Indian person. That's why they can do that.
Exactly.
And I am a retard, so I cannot do the cool head bobble, dude.
Oh man.
Yeah, but anyways, yeah, you crush it. Yep. So Venezuela, also the United States. You were in Texas for part of the time. I was in Venezuela, and that's what's trippy, is because I literally lived in your fucking family's apartment, which is so hilarious. Because Carlos had to come back from the States.
Yeah, I forgot.
And then he was just like, "Hey, primo,
yeah,
no tengo la ahorita, weón. Déjame tu
Nicholas has
apartamento."
literally lived in my parents' apartment in Venezuela.
Yeah. Although what's funny is
about that completely.
when I did live there, I didn't live in your room. I lived in the other one.
The one behind the kitchen.
No, I think the one that's next to the bathroom.
Okay. That was my sister's.
Yeah.
Eventually, it was.
Right.
So, wow. I completely forgot.
Crazy,
that,
right?
Yes.
Crazy, bro. That was the first time I ever went to Venezuela. Was I stayed in your parents' apartment, and I'll never forget because there's this trippy ass painting of spaghetti.
Yes.
It's super cool, and I loved looking at it. Yeah,
there was. It was a ginormous painting.
Yeah.
This is like the size of 2 average walls put together.
That's why it's dope.
It was a huge.
And as a little kid, and it was in the kitchen, or sorry, it was in the dining room.
In the living room.
Oh, yeah, and like anytime you'd eat, I'd always look at it, and I was like,
no, it was in the dining room. Yes, you're right. It was in the dining room.
Yeah, I remember your own fucking house better than you. This is crazy, dude. You're so stupid. But dude, it was also funny because that was I was in 5th grade, and that was the first time I went to Venezuela, and I got to kind of learn a little bit of Spanish because my mom and I went to a 2-week school in Ecuador, and then we went to go visit Carlos.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to play with all the kids in your building, which was hilarious. Oh, dude, the funniest story. I don't know if you know this. So we're living there, and I don't know any English. Or sorry, I don't really know that much Spanish yet. But playing with all the kids in your building, I don't know fucking shit. I can't spell for shit in English. I was just telling you that.
He was trying to type right now YouTube compilation of crosswind landings, and he was like, "How do you write compilation again?"
Dude, the only reason I know the difference between there and there is because that meme that came out in like 2016, and that's literally when I was like, "Oh, that's the difference."
Which one?
THEIR or THERE?
Oh, yeah.
Anyways.
Yes. We digress.
All right, so yeah, I got to play with kids in your building, and that was super dope. But all right, I brought my skateboard, and then one day I was skating in that garage that we used to play futbolito in and play with the trompos and stuff.
Yep.
And I slammed, and I was so mad. And so I was like kicking the elevator. That's a dumb runt. And I got the elevator stuck. I don't remember what floor you lived on, but I was on like the 3rd floor or whatever. And I could just barely pry the doors open to where it was like 2 inches. And then I could yell, and I didn't know how to say help. And in my mind, I was like, fuck, I didn't learn help yet in Spanish. So I was just yelling, help, please. Por favor, help.
The elevator would get stuck,
And I had to piss so bad. I was literally like picking which corner. I was going to distinguish one corner. I was so close. I was about to piss my pants. So I did not know ayúdame, which is help me. Yeah, I did not learn ayúdame yet, but I did know all the bad words. And I knew maricón, which basically translates to queer.
Yeah.
You know?
That in a very politically correct way of translation.
Yeah. And so this guy's like, cállate, maricón! Just yelling. Because I had been yelling for like 20 minutes. Some guy just was tired of hearing some kid yelling English. Man. Cállate, maricón! Just shut up, you fucking queer! And I knew what that meant, but I didn't know help me.
How old were you again?
Bro, 11.
Man.
11.
We really do go way back.
Yeah, it's trippy. It's trippy.
It really is. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Man.
But yeah, man, that was my first time in Venezuela, which was pretty dope. But anyways, that's a long way around to say that you're Venezuelan born, lived in India, and then back to the U.S. Did your flight training in Florida.
Yeah.
And what I want to do is we got to chronologize like stories from each of these events, which is flight school, training, then Jack Brown's, then going to Alaska. Okay, then like crazy hustle Miami time, but then also all the Gulfstream. Dude, literally all the Gulfstream stories could be its own episode.
Yeah, that one.
And now your experience at United is like a whole fucking,
Yeah, it's
But we can bounce around and just tell some crazy stories of, all of them mixed in between. Like, all right, so one of the also really cool things was I got my private pilot done. Like I said, I dragged it out way too long. It was completely my fault. And then my sister, God bless her, she's got that master's in sociology. She was like, you should pick a date of when you're going to take the written test, so that way it puts a fire under your ass and then you have to study.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did the rest of them like that, and I was like, oh, that's the way to do it. But yeah, man, right after I got my private, I turned 30, and I was like, oh, I want to do something really cool for my 30th birthday. So I went down and I got a lesson from you in a seaplane.
Yeah.
And that was the funnest thing ever, dude. I remember I went home and I told everybody, I was like,
should we plug your YouTube channel here?
Yeah, the Messy Pilot on YouTube.
Yeah, you can Messy Pilot.
You can go and see that adventure.
Yeah, you can check it out.
It was so cool, man. I told everybody, it's so different than any other flying because we're not talking on any frequencies to anybody else, and we were only flying at like 500 AGL.
Yeah.
And the whole time, I was just looking around the windows, and I was like, yo, we're literally flying with like pelicans and shit, and they're looking at us like, the hell are y'all doing down here? This is our airspace. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Our flight deck normally is 500 feet. And then we do some maneuvers and stuff and air work about 1,000 to 1,500. But the predominant lifespan of your training during seaplane time is 500 feet, which is amazing.
And flying that cool little yellow Cub, I mean, it definitely, that's why nowadays, if somebody's like, oh, I canceled the flight because the vertical speed indicator was broken or something. And I'm like, is that a required instrument?
I'd be covering all your stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And whatever.
And we didn't even have an electrical system. We had to throw the prop.
Exactly. Yeah, which is so cool. And then you just hop in, you push it away from the dock.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, this is so badass.
Yeah. Things have changed a little bit now.
They got transponders, I heard.
Yeah, and we have we have radios now too, and we have a little bit more procedure based, but still it's seat of your pants flying, a lot of imagination building and common sense, which is pretty cool still. So there just had to be a little bit more structure to the already extremely fun situation that was happening down there.
Yeah, you're like, okay, guys, we got to make like at least 3 rules because this is too much fun right now.
It's still extremely fun. I mean, during one day of flying, you'll do 20 landings minimum in different legs. We had what was it? I think 300 and something legs in the county, and we can virtually land in every single one of them. So that was definitely a playground. That
was so fun. I remember you go like, you see the third lake over there? And I'm like, yeah. You're like, go fly to that one. We're gonna go land on that one now.
Yeah.
And it was everywhere. It was so cool.
Yep. It's the most fun you can have with your clothes on.
And so how many years were you doing that?
Let's see if I can recall. I think I started in 2017 at Jack Brown's.
And you still do it from time to time?
Yes, sir.
That's so cool.
I sure do.
That's so awesome. And yeah, now you said they got a 172 and a Beaver on floats.
Yes, and I flew it. I teach in it, and it's a fully chromed out Beaver, which is kept immaculately beautiful.
That's gangster, dude.
Yeah, so we have now a Super Cub, a Legend Cub, a 172, a Beaver, and we're trying to work on having an Air Cam, which is a multi-engine pusher open cockpit amphibious aircraft, which is amazing.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
that place was so neat. Like, it was just, hardworking people who, man, yeah, they make a cool vibe down there. Mm-hmm. It was just a magical place,
even for the people that don't fly. Just the experience of just hanging out around the seaplane base brings a level of peace that you can't really describe it until you live it.
Yeah, like I think to a pilot life, it's kind of like surfers. You know, like you're just gonna go hang out on the beach, and you might like watch some of your buddies catch some waves.
That's a great correlation of it.
But everybody's just chilling in like swim trunks and flip flops, and like, yo man, I got a 45-minute lunch break. Y'all want to go do some laps? And it's like, yeah bro, I'll go ride with you. Like that shit was cool as hell.
Yeah,
but it wasn't Cali swag. It's like take that, but make it Florida, so it's like a little bit more swamp thug. Yeah, and like that is Jack Brown's. It's such a cool vibe.
It's great. It's going on 55-year anniversary. So they've been doing this for a while.
I hope they get 100 more, dude. It's a one of a kind place, and it's definitely the place to learn to fly a seaplane.
The
like,
place.
People around here are like, oh yeah, there's this guy up in Virginia. You can go up there on the lake and you can go ride in the intercoastal. And I'm like, fuck that. You should go to Jack Brown's because that's one of one.
Yes, sir.
That's the place.
Yes, sir.
That's cool, man. And so you had mentioned Alaska, and how did that happen? Did you see a flyer? Did you get a phone call?
No. My boss at the time at the seaplane base used to fly for a company as a 135 VFR operation out of Alaska, and so I verbalized my desire to go up there, and it was like, yeah, with your amount of time in floats, you already meet the requirements, which they'd love to see at least 500 hours of float time, which at the time my total time wasn't that high, but I definitely had 500 hours of float time. So I went straight into flying floats in Alaska, and so I was flying a Beaver on straight floats, and then got to fly 206s on amphib floats for a 135 operation that did pretty much anything from charters to scheduled to hunting trips to we even had a cool contract that we'd take the sea pilots for the Norwegian cruise lines to board that boat to be able to go through the notoriously dangerous inside passage of Alaska. And so these sea pilots are notoriously really good at their job. They basically had, I think if I remember correctly, the test to become a sea pilot was 13 pieces of white paper, and you would have to draw a topographic depth of the inside passage with numbers and depths and rocks and twirls and everything from a white piece of paper.
That's like trying to draw the United States or people that know all 50 states and their capitals, and I'm just like...
Correct. And add to that, peaks of mountains and where the peaks are at and all that stuff that can get you in trouble. So
that's nutty. But if you could do that, your spatial orientation would be incredible.
Insane, yes. Yeah. Those guys were very
You're a walking GPS.
Yes. And that's why they hop into these highly advanced, technologically advanced cruise liners with very capable captains just to aid and assist the captains to go through the inside passage, because some of the most narrowest points of the inside passage, I think I read something that there was only 10 feet from either side of the boat of these massive cruise liners. So that's incredible. So we would take these pilots from most of the time the capital of Alaska in Juneau, and then take them to meet a small boat in the middle of the water to then be taken to the cruise liners. So it was a really, really cool operation. Very, very, a lot of variety in the operation.
Well, I want to know that story where you told me, you're flying with some captain and you're about to blow the boots and the guy slapped your hand. He's like, that's not how we do it around here.
Oh, no. This was... I was brand new, okay? Brand new. This was actually during my interview, and for the interview, they wanted you to go out and fly, okay? So we get into a Beaver that it was configured at the time with amphibious floats, and we were going from land to water, but then the weather was winter time in Alaska at the time, and so the weather can get really, really nasty. The water was white capping, which for those of you that don't know, white capping would be that the swell is really high and the waves are really high, and you can't really technically land the airplane at least safely there. And also the ceilings were really low, and we were surrounded by mountains, and we started picking up ice, which no seaplane is really good at dealing with ice buildup. And so we don't have boots in the Beaver, but this gentleman in particular has been flying these same Alaska waters and airs for longer than I've been alive at the time. And so I was the one flying. He says, hey man, this is going to cancel my controls, and we're gonna go to an alternate, and it was a closer field because we weren't gonna be able to make it to our destination, and we couldn't turn back around because it closed on us in terms of ceilings, and we can't be IMC, which is no visual reference anymore, and depending on the instruments, right? So we realized that we start building up ice, and he gets really low to the water, and it was so windy that the spray of the salt water over the water was actually getting rid of the ice. And I saw that, and I felt inside of me that this is the stuff that a book cannot teach you, right? And this is the part where experience cannot be faked. And so, sure enough, he got rid of the ice, and we deviated to a local field, which this field only has about, at most, 30 people living there year-round. And so we landed on that runway, and sure enough, 3 other airplanes from the same company ended up deviating for the same exact reasons. We got stuck in this place called Hoona, Alaska, for 3 days because of a humongous snowstorm. And it was some of the best times of my life to this day. I've never drank as much beer as I did those 3 days.
Yeah, man, you went full hippie mode. When I see pictures of you, I just saw a video of you flying that Beaver. Bro, you look like John Lennon. You had like long ass hair, dude. You look like a different hombre. You also had a little bit more meat on your bones. You had to like stay out that cold up there. You know, you had to eat nothing but like meat and potatoes. Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah,
stomping around in your waterproof boots like literally everywhere. You literally were saying that earlier. You're like, the fucking shittiest part about summer is everything is mushy.
Yeah, everything was wet and cold and lack of sun. But I was so happy to be there. But I can't really grow a beard. I'm incapable of such, or at least a good beard. So I just grew my hair. And unfortunately, the very man that hired me and I did this flight with called me nickname Fabio.
Nice.
So on the radio, it was Fabio.
So you were Fabio everywhere?
No, just in Alaska.
Okay, nice.
And that stayed there.
yeah, Fabio died.
Yeah.
You cut that hair, you came home, bro.
Yeah.
No, you also let your mustache go. I remember there was one picture you looked straight up like Pablo Escobar.
Yeah.
100%, dude.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
You have some crazy GoPro footage and drone footage from when you're up there, though.
Yes.
You need to give me that so I can put it all on YouTube's.
No, I was actually very nervous doing that type of stuff, and I would specifically verbalize that it was done during non-critical phases of flight, and it was an empty aircraft under Part 91 and not the 135, because that's kind of a little frowned upon. But in my mind, I was living my best life flying as a young, bushy pilot in Alaska. So any footage that I could get, I would jump on the gun.
It's so sick. Like, so much cool stuff I've seen on your laptop, but it's funny that you have that mentality or that wisdom, because I remember I used to send you my YouTube videos. Initially, it'd be like, hey, do you think there's anything like really illegal here that I could get in trouble for? Because, dude, you're thinking that as while I literally had this idea for a video. I'm going to be flying the Tomahawk, and since I don't have a Bose headset, I could just be like, I don't need a Bose when I got this big ass speaker.
Oh my god!
And I was just gonna have a big ass boombox in the seat next to me and put a cassette tape in of the Beastie Boys and just blare that shit while I fly around. I was like, that'd be a hilarious video.
Ladies and gentlemen, the FAA has entered the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
So I never did make that video, but I thought it would be so funny.
Yeah.
Like 80s retro. I wanted to have like the Viper shades and just be like,
yeah. Now they use the Pit Vipers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, you were a lot smarter than me. All my YouTube videos were it's in my idea journal, which is sad. You can see my chicken scratch handwriting, these thoughts. I had another idea of it. I wanted to do this like a conspiracy video where it's like a mechanic and he's smoking his cigarette outside of the hangar, and he's like, yeah, man, I got about 1,600 hours, you know, and I'll tell you.
With the raunchy voice.
And he's like, I'm going to tell you, it is flat up there. I've been up there. I've been as high as you can go, man, and it's a fucking flat earth, man. They've been lying. I've seen the edge, all right? You know, and he's just like this greasy mechanic, and he's full of all the conspiracies.
That was a great voice, though.
He's like full of all the conspiracies. I wanted to make that a video so bad. I think it would be so silly.
It would be a great video. That one I think would be pretty good.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, we'll try it.
We should take a page out of the playbook of Justin on Pilot to Pilot. He always wanted to interview somebody in the podcast, but in the airplane.
Yeah, I've thought about that a million times too, but you'd get you would get a lot of feedback.
Yeah, I think if it was to be done, I think it would be it should be done like an aerial survey type thing that somebody is a pilot in command in the front and then the other two are in the back just talking.
Well, again, that's you being smart and trying to stay out of the FAA's watch list.
Yeah.
Because I would have been like, yeah, dude, let's do it in the Tomahawk.
No.
Let's just do power off 180s while I ask you questions.
I always
you
thought
get 30
of doing
seconds to answer.
In the seaplane of flying, and the intro is like you're flying, but then you land, turn off the engine, and you're just floating in the middle of a lake. And you can hear the water just slushing around while you're talking. It's extremely relaxing, but also I thought about it in that way, but it was like, you know what? These airplanes are used. We're booked like a year in advance.
Bro, but you can make it happen. That would be so sick. And we have the recording equipment. We should actually do that.
Yeah, that'd be
We need
cool.
to make that happen.
Yeah.
That would be fucking cool.
That'd be really cool, actually.
Well, yeah, and we're going to have a lot more of that in the future because you're going to be, like I said, a founding member of the Ding Doom.
Better believe it.
Nice. All right, which airplane is that right there on the TV? Because I would be like, that's a C-130 with different engines.
That's a C-17 Glowmaster.
There you go. See, I don't know that, but the difference between that or a C5.
What's really cool about that airplane is that they are certified and allowed to activate their thrust reversers in the air.
Yeah.
For tactical approaches.
Yeah.
Of high inclination. It's really cool. Man.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Like we were talking about the U.S. Air Force YouTube kid that does all the interviews. He has that video up, and I watched it. Dude, it's so dope. They're like, all right.
Which one?
The one we were talking about. Swain Martin's boyfriend.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah, dude. And he's in there, and they're like, all right, on the count of 3, we're going to put you in your seatbelt. And like, 3, 2, 1. And he just goes like, Kuh! And it's like one of those 5-point harnesses. Yeah, and they're just, and you see that vertical speed going like,
and the cool part is that most of the time that they're doing that is completely dark. There's no external lights, internal lights, and they're in night vision goggles. Yeah, night vision goggles, and those are some cool tactical guys,
dude. And then those guys go home and they just like take their flight suit off, and then they just get in their, Hyundai, and they drive home because they don't make a whole lot of money, and they're just like, another day at the office. And meanwhile, we're like, God damn, boy, that's crazy.
Oh, but those guys, when they leave that, they come to the Legacy Airlines and have fun.
And they got a million stories.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Those would be cool guys to fly with.
They are. Any C-17 and C-130 guy that I've ever flown with, they're super cool guys that you want to invite and have a beer in your living room.
Yeah. Unlike that guy that we saw on Instagram today, the one that I told you that little fun fact about. Honey, I'm home.
Oh yeah.
like if I could fly with him or fly with like a super cool ex-military guy, obviously ex-military guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Because also that guy's gonna be so humble, and like he's just telling you these stories, and your mouth has been on the floor for like 3 hours.
Yeah,
but he's just like so casual about it, and he's just like, no, it really was nothing. I'm not that important.
I can't remember right now the exact name of the passages in Anchorage through the mountains, but these guys are based. They have a base there, and they're flying within the highest is like 400, 500 feet while banking past 45 degrees through these valleys in the mountains.
Dude, they're literally Top Gun the movie in real life in a whale.
Exactly. In a heavy jet. Like, that is cool.
So, here locally in Raleigh, one of my fun memories, we have right here at RDU on the Class C is what am I trying to say? National Guard. They have like 50 Apaches, not 50, maybe like 25, parked out there. And so when we land on the little runway, you get to go right next to them. But anyways, they have to stay current, so they're always flying around in our city. And I love seeing them over the highways. And I'm always like, man, I hope they don't have the rockets in there, because if you sneeze and you pull that trigger, But anyways, what was really fun was when I was in private pilot training, we were up at Henderson where you parked, and it's just like completely dark on that field, except there's one street light that illuminates off of the top corner of the maintenance hangar. Yeah. And so my dad and I were getting fuel. So like imagine a 5,000 foot runway, it's all black except for like this one little shimmer of light, and you just hear just like a fucking war machine of death, and it's all black and you can't see a thing, and you're like, what is that thing? And then just it slips through the light, and you see like this monster with rockets and semi-automatic guns, and like just it looks
fully.
Yeah. And it's just the shape of it. It looks like a predator, like Jurassic Park creature, dude. And then it slips back into the dark, but it still sounds like just a wave of death.
Yeah.
And I looked
by
over
the
at
time
Carlos.
you see it, it's too late,
dude. I looked over at Carlos. And I was like, for like a second, I got chills because I was like, if I was the enemy, and like, you know, I heard that coming, and you can't see it, and then the last second, like, dude, you're just. I was like. Super tight butthole, dude. I was so nervous in that moment. And
funny that you say that story about the Apaches. Shout out to a really good friend of mine that's similar to our story, actually. It's a Venezuelan. Shout out to Alvaro.
Nice.
Venezuelan that joined the U.S. Army, and he's now a pilot on the Apaches for the U.S. Army.
That's sick.
Yeah, man. He's flying those, and he's telling me stories that you can, wherever he puts his sights with his helmet, the gun moves and tracks.
Ooh.
Yeah, so you just have to look and kill.
Yeah.
That is crazy, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, Bobby.
Yeah. It's cool stuff.
Gnarly. What were we talking about right before this? I can't even remember now.
The chronological story of...
Yeah.
La vida del Christopher aquí en 100.9 FM Miami.
Ay, papi, no.
Mañana viene el NFL. Vamos los Dolphins.
Oh man.
Dude, I was just down in Fort Lauderdale, like I told you, and I Googled it. I was 30 minutes away. Yeah, I flew the King Air down there, and then we went to Exuma.
Oh, yeah. You did tell me.
I was telling you that crazy-ass story,
Mm-hmm.
which, again, we should highlight. Miami Center ran out of transponder codes.
Yeah, that's a rarity.
I called my brother, ex-air traffic controller, asked him. He said it was always a thought, like a what if. Never, ever even got close. Miami Center, BFR flight following unavailable. Sorry, system out of transponder codes. And I was like, damn.
That's crazy.
Nutty day, dude.
How much? What was the number of people that they were servicing?
11,200 in their airspace the day before. So I don't know how many they did that day.
God.
And gotta say kudos to Miami Center. Best in the business, and I think they are. I've never ever heard somebody like, snooty, and those motherfuckers know how to get you around a storm cell. They can vector the shit out of you.
Yeah, buddy.
Like, they're gonna give you a vector way before me and my little piston. They're like, hey, why don't you turn 20 right for me? And I'm like, okay. And he's like, I see a storm cell up there. It was so far away that I still hadn't even seen it. And then like 20 minutes later, because my slow ass, in a Cherokee 180. I finally go past and I was like, oh shit, that motherfucker was looking out for me. So shout out Miami Center, dude.
Yeah.
All right, I want to talk a little bit about your time working for a sim company, because the man in charge, Yuji,
Yeah.
I mean, that guy, we should write a book about him. He is old school Japanese, like, no, what am I trying to say? Like, he's all about, like, proper respect, like the Japanese, because he's, like, old school Japanese, and it's, like, you respect the elders, and, like, you speak when spoken to. Like, he is a very, like,
I was,
whoosh, like, straight and narrow kind of dude. And honestly,
straight
bro,
arrow for sure.
You and me in the room, he would literally be like,
I could definitely believe that.
I would annoy the shit out of him in 10 seconds, and he would be like a fly, like swatting a fly. He'd be like, gone, you're gone. And so I never would have made it, but kudos to you, man. It sounds like it was so cool.
Yeah, I got super lucky on that one too. He became my mentor and kind of really got me into corporate aviation, and thanks to him, I got into the simulator company that I was working for. And full circle moment is that I come to the realization that simulator company job really helped me now at United with the whole learning the iOS systems for the different simulator interfaces.
Because I remember, I did my TPCTP. It was the first time I ever got to play with an FMS.
Yeah.
And dude, stumbled on that one so hard. And they were like, they literally had to like pause the sim, and everybody in the room is like, this fucking kid doesn't know how to press R1 or L2. And I'm like...
And for those of you that are still sticking around and listening to this, I mean, we're throwing terms that, by the point that you're still listening, that means that you're pretty good into aviation. But FMS is the flight management system.
Yep.
It's essentially the brains and the computer of most jets. or modern jets. Let's put it that way.
But it looks like the original computer. It's like green text, and it's like,
Correct.
and then it's like you have to hit all these little buttons around the screen. And I struggled so hard.
Think of a Commodore computer of back in the day, with the same processing power, and having to be updated with floppy disk and USB drives rather, or CDs actually, sometimes. So that's what an FMS is, and the simulators that we are talking about, those are ginormous boxes that are essentially exact cutaways of the flight deck of the particular airplane that simulator is designed for, and they are in hydraulic shocks simulating any motion and any emergency and any sound and even smoke in the cabin. They can simulate all of these things for the purposes of training pilots appropriately for things to come.
It tripped me the fuck out. I never got to see one of those or play with one of those or any kind of sim. So when I did my ATP class, I was very impressed at how it really felt like you were moving the whole time. Like it felt like the coolest Disney ride, or like I was about to say like Dave and Buster's, but Dave and Buster's ain't got shit on this, dude. Disney doesn't even have shit on these simulators. Like, it's so trippy how real. And then when they hit pause and all of a sudden you come to a stop, you're like, you feel like you got jerked, like you were going 100 miles an hour, but you weren't even moving. It's so crazy. It threw me for a loop. And then what's also trippy, I just want to highlight real quick as like a young Padawan over here that has no jet time. I did that. It was a 737 MAX, or the brand new 737,
nice.
And Delta had the heads-up display, which was pretty cool.
Oh, you know what's funny is that Delta doesn't even have 737 MAXs.
Still,
they still don't,
bro. Yeah,
they only operate NGs, which is new generation 737s, but they're still not the newest.
Yeah, dude, because the sim guys told us, they were like, this is the first time that the sims ever showed up before the planes, and I did that shit 2 years ago.
Yeah, and they still have no intentions of
what
bringing those Maxes in yet.
Weird, that's silly. Anyways,
the biggest operators is Southwest and United.
Interesting.
We have 550 737s.
But I heard that you guys don't have a heads-up display, right?
We do not. No, because we have Autolands.
Oh, so
we get away with it by having full-on Autolands where the aircraft fully automated lands itself.
This guy was like fucking rubbing his nut, like so excited about the heads-up display, and I was like, he was like, Nick, play with the heads-up display. And I'm like, dude, this is the most pretty glass cockpit that I've ever seen. I want to like look at the screens for a little bit. Like, fuck that heads-up display. So if I was United, I would go with that too.
And heads-up displays are these acrylic kind of glass-made things that are inside the flight deck that are designed to be positioned right in front of your eyes so you could see through it, and it tells you information of how fast, how high, how off course you are.
Yeah, it's the green stuff that we always see in the fighter pilot movies.
The fighter pilots, yep. They started it. So now they've implemented it in the airliners, which is great. But yeah, these simulators are state of the art for sure.
I gotta take a quick piss.
Okay, potty break.
All right, back from our potty break. Chris was using the bathroom. I took the dog. We both ran outside and went pee-pee in the backyard.
Very nice.
Whoosh. It's chilly out there, dude. If the moon wasn't out, it'd be hard to find.
Millimeter Peter.
There you go, Millimeter Peter. I like that. It's gonna be my new gamer tag.
Yeah.
Millimeter Peter 6'9". You ever seen that where it's like the girlfriend calls the guy by his gamer tag?
No.
Oh, dude, it's like a compilation of girlfriends just reading like guys, like their loved one's gamer tag.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll be like,
do you have a gamer tag?
Yeah, it's called Goat Smuggler. Because we just watched that movie Blood Diamonds where they smuggled diamonds in the goats.
Yes.
So we're like, yo, we're a goat smuggler.
I don't know. I never had one. Mine was like CGT.
Pilot Chris.
No, I hate the whole pilot thing, but the of naming it there. Mine was just CGT.
Nice.
CGT7.
Bro, all right, so you know my email, the Messi pilot, but Messi as in like MESSI, like the world famous soccer player.
Yeah, Messi.
I thought, oh, that's like a fun play on words. My last name is also Messina, which is MESSI.
Yeah.
Bro, somebody was trying to be like, you should change your email account because it's not very professional and it's on your resume and they're going to have to like correspond with you, so the Messi pilot might give off a bad idea. And I was like,
I mean, I can see that.
But that is so stupid, and fuck you and your organization if you're going to judge me on my email. It's just silly.
Well, what was the slogan of this title podcast?
What? I mean,
every day.
Seriously, the best anime aviation podcast there ever was. That's
true.
It's the seatbelt.
Yeah. Sorry. Doom doom. Bing bong.
Yeah. Bing bong. Bing bong. We need to get that on here.
Oh my god.
That's totally gonna be. That's gonna be when we do the ad reads. It's gonna be bing bong.
If you see these dogs outside, just know stairs. I'm going hard.
Yeah.
What do you want to say to Joe Byron?
Oh my god. And we're drinking non-alcoholic beer and we're still acting like idiots. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. We're drunk on life.
That's what's up. Totally true.
Yeah, man.
All right, so you're working at Simcom, and we were saying how it kind of definitely helped you, give you a leg up in terms of when you were getting type rating because you'd already done like 16 of them. You know, you just never got the paperwork for it. And you knew how to turn on and off the freaking game console, the freaking simulator, and you had to go redo all the switches to make sure it boots up correctly.
Yeah.
Which is pretty freaking neat. And so what type of, you said it was Cessna Citation products, right? Damn, I'm tongue tied.
Yeah. Citation. So anywhere from Citation 1 to 5, Ultra, Encore, XLSs. It was great, man. I loved it. Really, really loved it.
Yeah, that's super dope. And but you didn't get to log any of that, right?
No, not really. The only thing I could log theoretically it would be in my resume that I was seat support for all these programs,
which is huge. That's a pretty important bullet point.
To me, it was just a learning experience because I was essentially going through what people go through as a recurrent, maybe once every year. I was seeing it on a daily basis.
That is pretty cool.
So you see common mistakes, you learn from other people's mistakes, and it's inevitable for you to debrief and be like, I don't want to make this mistake in the future.
And as we say that, and it highlights again probably another reason why United did tap you to be a 737 instructor, because they're like, yo, this kid, like, he's been running sims already.
I don't know if it was, again, I mean, I don't know. I feel very lucky that they called me to do this job, but imposter syndrome, I think, is a very real thing. I'm thankful to be there. I'm giving it my best, but it's a humbling experience to be teaching left seaters, right seaters, and learning the back seat at the same time, right? Because as the instructor, you're having to be air traffic control, gate agents, line guys, flight attendants in the moments of emergencies and stuff, while still keeping an eye on the captain and the first officer, while taking notes, while following a scheduled lesson plan, while setting up the flight deck with every single scenario right after, and keeping all of this in like a cohesive environment of a flowing song, right? So it feels very daunting at the beginning, but
well, I like everything that you said there, and it kind of sparked my mind, and I wanted to take it back again to being an instructor for a little bit, because you knew you wanted to be an instructor. You now being an instructor at a 737 level, which is just so crazy. But even when you were at the seaplane base, we had talked about this, and you were like, oh, I've never really signed people off for a cross-country solo, right?
Yeah. What's crazy is that I'm a Gold SEAL instructor with more than literally thousands of hours just on the instruction side alone.
Uh-huh.
And I've never soloed a student.
I know, dude. And I told you that because I soloed 2 students, and I was so nervous and worried, and I was like, I literally just sent these people out on a death trap all by themselves. The FAA is totally going to put me in jail. Like, I was so nervous. My first person that I soloed was a 17-year-old high school girl in her own Cherokee 180, and I was texting her dad the whole time because we were watching it on FlightAware separately.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, she made it to the first airport. And he was like, yeah, I know, I'm watching, dude. It's so crazy. And I was like,
oh this was a solo cross country?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And, I was just so nervous. Dude, 17-year-old kid.
For sure.
But she's killing it. She is such, I remember the first time I showed this girl how to do a crosswind component coming into land, and I demonstrated it once. Like, we finally had conditions, to go teach her.
Mm-hmm.
So I showed her.
You should have taken it out today.
I know, right? Oh, she would have been teaching me, dude. So I showed her one, and then the next 3 she did by herself, and she did everything perfectly. And she's the kind of kid where she can feel the plane. You can cover up all the instruments.
That's awesome.
She doesn't need them.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I
because
love hearing that.
her dad had been a pilot her whole life. He had a Cherokee 140, and then he got a Cherokee 6, and now he owns a Cessna 310, and then he bought his kid a Cherokee 180 for her to do all her training in.
My God,
dude!
Must
and
be
so
nice.
she wants to be an airline pilot. Well, it's like the only reality that she's ever known.
Yeah.
When they had to like travel for sports tournaments, he would just load everybody into the Cherokee 6. It was like the family minivan.
I love it.
So she's like, yeah, I want to be an airline pilot. I'm not going to go to college. And so I'd start teaching her, right? The first time she had ever been on an airliner in her life, she was 18 years old and had just graduated high school because they went down to go buy her dad's Cessna 310, and she had like a terrible experience with TSA, and they like had to take her bag and pat her down and look, and she was like, I didn't like that at all. I was like, dude, that's gonna be your life.
It's like, don't worry, you don't have to go through.
I know, dude. It just made me laugh so hard. I was like, you want to be an airline pilot? You've never been on an airliner until you're 18, and you're already a licensed pilot. It made me laugh so much. But this kid, dude, they just came back from the Bahamas the same day that I came back. And she's instrument rated. She's working on a CFI now.
Yeah, okay.
And her dad...
Is this one of the candidates that you mentioned?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, her name's Caitlin. Shout out Caitlin. She's fucking killing it. Woo! She already has more King Air time than me, too. It's so funny.
Man.
Yeah. So, anyways, she's, of course, instrument rated. And her dad... And she got her multi earlier this year. And... So they got into some weather coming back into Florida from the Bahamas. And so, of course, her dad had to be like, all right, daughter, well, you have to take controls because I'm not instrument rated. So she shot an ILS down to like 500 feet in the 310.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then she landed it because her dad was like, you already got it. Just take it. And so.
I love that.
It's dope, man. She, but like I said, I had 2 kids at the same time. 2 high school kids, same age.
Bring her to United.
A boy and a girl.
Incentivize a United seat early.
Well, that's on you, my man. I told her, it's a joke, but it's the reality. I keep telling her, I go, when you get a job, and maybe I'll get an interview wherever you end up, because she's going to get there before me. But, yeah, man, I had 2 kids at the same time. Her and a boy named Josh, and, she showed up on day 1, and she had already watched all of the training videos on Sporties and read like half of the Pilot Handbook of Aeronautical Knowledge.
Ooh, the P-hack, yeah.
And then the other boy, at the same time, we were about to solo him, and then I asked him some questions like, what do the flaps do? And he was like, I don't know. I was like, and then I was like, let's open up your P-hack. And the book was crisp. None of the pages had ever been opened. And I was like, no, we're not soloing you.
The sticker was still there.
Yeah. And we had done like 10 flights already. And I was like, so.
Man.
Yeah, she's smart. She's driven, studious. She's a good-ass pilot.
That's amazing.
So,
good for her.
Yeah, man. It boggles my mind. You got your gold seal. I almost got mine. I'm still working on it, but...
Dude, I had my gold seal, I think, 7 months after becoming an instructor.
Kudos. That's dope.
Something like that. And all it means, the gold seal, is that you have... The FAA logo is normally black on your license, or the little symbol in the top right of your license.
Yeah.
And it becomes yellow.
I know, but I want it, dude.
And that's it. That's all it is. And if you become a gold seal, apparently that means that you have, I think it was an 80% pass rate for all your students.
8 out of 10 in a 2-year span. For you, which was easy, dude, because people are coming to you and you're getting them trick ride ready in like 3 days. And they know how to fly.
Yeah.
Man, I'm putting these fuckers in from day 1. I got her private instrument commercial, and now we're about to do CFI.
That's awesome, man.
Yep.
There's a lot of fulfillment into that.
It is, man. It's so cool. It tripped me out the other day because 3 of my students, they were all sitting in the classroom, the same classroom that I did my private pilot check ride in, and they're asking me questions, and I know most of it, and then it trips me out. Number 1, that I know it, and number 2, that they're asking me. I'm like, I should not be here right now. I'm not the one to be teaching you guys. Like, I'm surprised they didn't lock me up in jail yet.
Yeah. Hey, if you're entering rooms that you're not the smartest one in the room, you're doing the right thing. Because that means there's room for improvement, right?
That's a big-ass airplane. Which one's that?
That's an MD-11.
Is that really an engine on the top and the tail?
Yeah. It's a three-engine airplane.
Yeah. Because you know how the Falcons, they have that thing, but it's like not really an engine, right? It's like a scoop. It's like an air scoop.
It's a duck, yeah. There's still a third engine, but it's
not in that hole.
Correct. In this one, it is there.
Up on the tail.
The MD-11, the DC-10, and the L-10-11.
See,
those 3 are the famous tri-jets.
They're trying to make it cool, look like an engine in the tail. Why do they make it like that? If it's not an engine.
Well, and the Falcon.
Yeah, or any plane that has like that little scoop. That's where it looks cool like an engine, but it's not.
Well, back in the day, they were doing the whole more than 2 engines for ETOPS reasons, for capabilities of going further over water. But now the reliability rate with with the engines. That's why they've gone more for fuel economy rather than amount of engines. That the tri-jets and the 4-jet engines kind of died off slowly, and now it's just 2 jets. But they look really good.
All right, so speaking of 2 little jets on a little ass plane, let's talk about the first couple of times when you were at this charter company and you got to do some international flying. And did it like blow your mind? And did you feel like you were really behind because you're doing with ICAO and different everything is kind of different? Because the one time I flew in Canada, the entire time we were nervous because we were like, we don't know the rules. We're gonna fucking get locked up. It was a pain in the ass, dude. Making flight plans in Canada is such a bitch, especially for 5 little Cessna 172s that were all flying low. You know, we had to call some guy and
the
then he had to
pass. And get you your CAN pass.
We're so spoiled with ForeFlight. You literally hit like 3 buttons and then you get an email.
Or flightplan.com. Did you ever use that?
Yeah, and flightplans.com sucks balls compared to...
No, man, that was great. Instead of flying... do you remember who you had to call for your flight plans?
1-800 Weather Brief.
WX Brief, yeah.
Yeah, but it's 1-800 Weather Brief.
Yeah. I used to do that one all the time.
I went and sat in on one of the 1-800 Weather Brief meteorologist talks at Sun and Fun, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, dude, those guys are super smart.
Yeah,
and they're dispatchers, weather people.
Yeah,
they're fully aware of what's required from you.
Yeah,
but yeah, some of my first flights internationally. Which one? Actually, one of my very first flights internationally was from Teterboro to Tel Aviv in Israel.
Ooh, and then tell us about the secret code too.
Yeah, and that was super cool. Now that I think about it, because you need what they call a discrete code. I think it was either 200 or 100 miles off of Israel. You're going through what they call it's kind of like our ATIS. Yeah, Air Defense Identification Zone. Right.
Your border.
Their border, but it's the only one requiring a discrete code. That way the Israeli Air Force doesn't come and intercept you. Right? And so every plane has to give them this unique discrete code. And I don't know what you tell them or what you give, and it can be anything, right? And this is a very culturally religious inclined country, and I go like, my code is going to be pepperoni
or hamburger,
pepperoni, I think it was pepperoni. And they were like, sir, we argue to reconsider that code. I was like, all right, well, bacon, no pork products.
It's fucking retarded.
But yeah, so some of in that same trip, I ended up going to Morocco. I ended up doing a fuel stop in Keflavik, Iceland. So this was a really, really cool operation where I'd sometimes go around the world twice within the same rotation.
Dude, I remember you were telling me. But, again, always been a hustler. That shit was 20 days on, 10 days off. When you told me that, I was like, oop, shoot myself in the foot. I'm good on that, dude.
When I got started, that was the schedule. But by the time I upgraded, it was a 15-15 schedule, so 15 days on, 15 days off.
That's not bad.
And what's cool on like the airlines is that you commute on your days on, not on your days off. So wherever the jet is around the world, in your first day of rotation work, that's when they'll take you to wherever the airplane is at. So you're not technically working that day.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a pattern with all those Gulfstream guys like yourself, because when I was in my ATP class, there was this kid in there, and he was young. He was like 25, and he was going through a captain upgrade for one of the Gulfstreams, and his operation was out of Dubai. So they would commute to either like Dubai or Africa.
Yep.
Day one. And they had to like argue with the company to get them upgraded to business class. And I was like, holy shit, you're telling me every time you go to work, he had like 17-13 schedule or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
And
actually,
I was like,
those Dubai contracts are even longer. Sometimes it's a month on, month off.
I know. And I was like, you're telling me you got to commute back and forth to Dubai just to go to work? And he was like, yep. And I'm like, bro, that is a young man's game. That is hard.
But it's cool, too, because you get to keep all the airline points and rental car points and hotel points. So by the time that you're a kid like him at 25, if he continues to do that, by the time they're 30, they're like ambassador elite in a Marriott or super gold status global service member at United.
And you've already been to all these cool places all over the world, so you know like where to go spend the points. So that's cool. And you know the restaurants and all that shit. But
yeah. So it's pretty cool.
But dog, I mean, you're saying like you're gonna go to Dubai 14 times a year just to go to work, like. Something to consider. So people are like, oh yeah, pilots, you guys make like millionaire lifestyle. It's like, but you give up a lot.
You do
to make all that cheddar.
And in the process of all of that, considering now the hype towards Oura rings and Apple watches and health and all of that, sleep is a super big priority where it really hits your circadian rhythm pretty hard when it comes to sleeping. Yeah,
and you schooled me on that too, because when I was coming up in the game, I was like, you know what, I'm a night owl, like maybe cargo is like my calling. And then you told me that you were moving whatever freaking famous older band it was, I can't remember anymore. But you were flying like a band.
Oh, Journey.
Yeah, you were flying them. I was going to say Genesis, and I was like, I don't think that's right. But
Journey, yeah.
And then you're basically just dumb luck. You ended up flying them around for like half their tour.
Yeah.
And it was all like you were saying night flying. And you were like, I'd be walking to the FBO at like 7:30. And that's like when I want to go to sleep and everybody's all perky on their coffee. They're like, good morning, sir. Can I get your funeral? And you're like, shut up. My face looks like I've aged 60 years when I look at myself in the mirror. I just want to sleep. And you'd only done it for like 2 months. And I was like, all right, yeah, maybe cargo isn't the life for me.
Flying red eyes consistently for a long period of time is no different when you see those presidential pictures of before and after their campaign.
Yeah.
You see them age relatively quickly in a 4 to 8 year span.
Yeah. I remember you told me you're like, I feel like my face is sagging when I look at myself in the mirror. Like it was just drooping.
Yeah. You get tired.
I'm good on that. But
that's why you need a Korean skincare routine. Shameless plug.
안녕하세요. 감사합니다. I told you, dude, I learned a little Korean at that spot that we were at today when I worked there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though we didn't eat Korean.
Dude, okay,
we had a bento box.
You're right. But beautiful, very nice Korean family that owns the place. And what was super dope, actually, that relationship panned out because we had to go to Indonesia for, my sister-in-law's wedding.
Yeah.
And we had a layover in Korea. I bought my ticket on credit card points, and it said 12-hour layover in Korea. And I was like, what? 12-hour layover? That's going to suck. And then I was like, wait, I have a friend in Korea. And so one of the ladies that I worked with, she went back to Korea. And, dude, I had my own tour guide for 12 hours going and returning in Seoul, and she picked me up. Oh my god, dude, it was terrifying though, because this was like,
I want to go to Seoul really bad,
bro. It was incredible. Little things, all the little things impressed me. Like you could eat off the floor of any garage where there's cars parked. Every single car in the whole country has these little square sponges attached to the doors, to the edges. So if you accidentally open your door and you hit another car, it won't ding it.
Oh my god.
Every car has these little sponges because like parking was kind of tight.
Yeah.
And everybody backs into a spot. Nobody just pulls in. Everybody backs in.
I love that.
That was cool. All the little things, man. All the little things. There was zero trash anywhere. Mm-hmm. People all dressed like relatively nice. Like you would never just see somebody in a t-shirt that said like, I woke up for this, and then they're wearing like PJ pants. No, like everybody was dressed nice. And like even like women don't wear jeans with holes in them. Everybody and like everybody was so polite, dude, and like things just kind of flowed.
I read something that Korea is the only place that sells phones that are incapable of silencing the sound that creates when you take a picture for privacy reasons of the other person knowing when you're taking a picture.
Oh wow.
So your phone could be completely silent and vibrate, but the camera
is going to go ka-ching. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know if it's true or not, but
dude, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a part of the culture. Like, it was dope. Mm-hmm. I loved it. I was so excited. I almost didn't get in though because it was like post-COVID, and I went to the Korean restaurant here. I was talking to her sister. She was like, "Oh yeah, don't worry, we'll call Lena right now, and like she'll be there waiting for you." And so of course I was like, "Is there anything that you would like me to take from here to your sister over in Korea?" And they gave me like a big ass wad of money, like a couple thousand bricks.
Nice.
$1,000 in a brick. And
you obviously brought less than $9,999 in cash, obviously.
Well, duh.
The FAA has left in the
$9,998.
chat.
Yeah, right. No, but dude, so there was this thing called oh man, I can't remember the name of it right now, but it basically was like a visa, okay? But it was like a thing for COVID. So it wasn't hard to get. You just had to like fill out this form online. K-ITA, that's what it was called, your K-ITA. So I pull into Seoul at like 6 a.m. and I walk up to immigration, and then nobody there like really spoke English, like the ones at the window. And so then they just point to the little office, you know, the immigration office, and you're like, you never want to go in the immigration. That's never good. You got to go sit down at the desk and now talking to some guy. And this guy also had like really broken English. And he was like, dude, we got to walk you back to your gate. And I was like, no. And like literally immigration was here, and you could see through a window, and I could see my friend Lena standing over there. And I was like, that's my friend. And she's like, and so then the guy was like, okay, this is how you do it. And so he pulls out my phone, and I had to like put a picture of my passport and all these documents on their internet page. Yeah. And then he was like, it could take up to 24 hours. And I was like, what the fuck? And then literally like I got an email that said like, okay, it's processing. And I go up to the guy and I'm like, look, yeah, he got the email. He's like, you're fine, just fucking go right now. And he just like walked me through the door. He didn't even stamp my passport. When I came back in the second time, it worked no problem because it had already processed. But I was like, sir, like in all broken English, I was like, I have to give something important to my friend. And so anyways, I gave her all the cash. And then on my return, of course, I was like, hey, do you want me to take some stuff back to your friend in the United States from Korea? And she was like, oh yeah, I'll give you a couple of things. So I thought she was going to give me something for like in my suitcase. She gave me a whole entire suitcase full of shit.
Oh.
And she was like, don't worry, I'll pay the baggage fee. You just give it to my friend when you get home to the US. And I was like,
was it a full size bag or kind of like a carry on?
No, it's a full size check-on bag, like a big ass suitcase.
And took it to heart.
Yeah, and I was like, well, Lena, you have to tell me what's in here, because like I had to go through immigration in the States, and it was just like toys and shit for all the kids and stuff. Mm-hmm. But then what scared me too was like she also bought her sister some jewelry. She's bought like some nice gold, like a gold chain, like a gold, I don't know, whatever else.
Yeah.
And I've had this wonderful like 10-day trip in Indonesia and Korea where like everybody in the world is so polite, dude. When we were in Indonesia, I saw a car accident. A truck hit a guy on a moped, and it was in a touristy part of Indonesia. It was like all white people just shopping in this district. And when the accident happened, literally the streets stopped moving. All the tourists, we all just watched this accident occur. The guy jumps out of the truck, walks over to the guy on the moped. They both literally smile, and they go like, haha, are you okay? Are you okay? They like brush each other off, and they're like, have a nice day. And they both just went each other's way. And all of us tourists, dude, we're all looking at each other. We're like, that would not happen in America. That'd be a fucking lawsuit. They'd be like, I'm going to sue you.
My neck.
Dude, these people are so polite. These people are so polite, right? And they come from nothing, and they don't have much in Indonesia, right? And then Korea, like, beautiful,
Where
lovely
did you
people.
go? Where, did you land
Bali.
in Jakarta?
We're in Bali.
You went straight to Bali?
Korea to Bali.
Oh.
Yeah.
With who?
With Aaron. We went to her sister's wedding.
No, I know. Which airline?
Oh, I can't fucking remember. But I did fly Korea Air, and that's my new favorite fucking airline. There's a podcast clip about it. Dude,
okay.
The slippers, they give you slippers.
Yeah.
When you walk on, and at first I was like, this is fucking weird. And then your feet start to swell up, and I was like, oh, these slippers are so nice. And then, dude, they serve you the meals, and then when they're done, when you go to the bathroom, there's a big thing of disposable toothbrushes and toothpaste.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God. They let you brush your teeth. Like, this is so thoughtful. This is so nice. Like, the Koreans, they think of it all. So all that niceness.
You're kind of describing the higher levels of any airline.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I've never seen
an amenities kit. Yes.
But not in the bathrooms.
Yes. United has it?
Really?
Yeah.
I've never flown on a United flight.
It's an amenities kit.
But they weren't in our seats. Anyways, regardless. All right, the point is dude,
in first class, all these airlines are giving you even pajamas. Like
that's
full-on
first
pajamas.
class, motherfucker. You think I've ever sat in first class in my life, dude? Literally, as a kid on my way out the plane, I was like, wow, these seats are roomy. That's no, dude. Anyways.
This is really cool. This is a 757 from Iceland Air. And they use this same airplane to lease it to land in Antarctica in the off season.
That's dope. And it's got the vortices coming off.
Yeah, they fly it from Argentina to Iceland. To Antarctica.
That's pretty badass.
With Iceland pilots. It is pretty cool, actually. But sorry, I digress.
Yeah, man. No, I was just trying to wrap up quickly on a long ass tangent of I was all over these places in the world that we think less of. People were so nice. I landed JFK, and I'm nervous because I'm carrying this bag with like valuables in it to my friend, and I'm in New York City where everybody's got that New York attitude, like, get the fuck out of my way, you piece of shit. And I'm
Bing
like,
bong.
dude, yeah. And I was so nervous because I missed my connection. So I had to go and stay at the JFK Inn. Don't ever stay at the JFK Inn. Okay. Literally, there was like a crack deal going on outside the hotel. Like, I had to pay for my room through bulletproof glass. I slept on top of the comforter on the top of the bed because like the comforter and the sheets had like multiple cigarette burns in them. I was like, this shit fucking sucks.
That's lovely.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh, thanks a lot, America. Like, I'm back. It fucking sucked.
I'm trying to think right now of if you're in JFK, the hotel that you do need to go to is the one there on the field that has a super constellation. Can you think of the name? Tri-tail 4-engine airliner, very iconic airplane, in the center of that hotel. And this is where they filmed a scene with Tom Hanks and Leonardo DiCaprio of Catch Me If You Can.
Oh.
In this very hotel.
Okay,
and it's all vintage, all airplane and airline related. And in the lobby, they have the old flip boards. The clack, 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 clack. Yeah, those. So I'll think of the.
I love that movie so much. Dude, I so badly I wanted to be like, I want to be that guy. That movie and Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Basically, all the movies of like where the guy is kind of like a nice bad guy. Man, that was always like, I want to be that guy.
The TWA Hotel.
Yeah, the TWA. That's right.
TWA Hotel. There you go. That's what it is. If anybody listening, Google TWA Hotel. You have an infinity pool overseeing a bunch of airplanes. Again, the nerd side coming out. But
yeah. Dude, you're so nerd like that. You can recall anywhere. I remember I posted one picture of me at a random FBO at an airport in America where there happened to be a turbine engine hanging in the...
I know exactly, yeah.
In the foyer of the FBO.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go, bro, did you go to the movie theater? Did you get all the snacks? Did you? And I'm like, I didn't know there's a fucking movie theater in that FBO. And you're like, oh yeah, bro, you missed out. I'm like, what?
It was a millionaire FBO in
Austin,
upstate,
Texas.
Yeah.
Austin, Texas.
Yeah. That was great.
Ka-ching! Yeah, I was like, oh, damn, that's crazy. But it was because it was special because it was the Concorde engine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which I also didn't know at the time, but whatever. We had to divert there. I was doing an aerial survey. That was that same trip I told you where we got stuck for ice, and we had to divert to Austin and land and wait it out. And I had my Xbox because thank God.
Which I love that you bring the Concorde engine because I am very hopeful of a...
Boom!
Yes. Of a venture.
Ba-da boom, baby!
Bing bang.
Bing bang.
Yeah. I'm very hopeful that boom program of bringing supersonic airliners
Dude,
back.
what makes you think that it won't work? I already told you, it's too big to fail. I'm right here in North Carolina. Greensboro is right next door. Dude, that shit...
I think just political permits, political...
whatever, dude.
Perspective of all of this.
No, it's done. It's a done deal. And after you listen to that podcast I told you on the Sean Ryan show...
Mm-hmm.
with CEO of Boom, dude, you'll be like, oh yeah, you'll understand. Like it's done. Just like with this Trump shit. Like when Mama Lay was here and Rafael and all the Venezuelans were all sitting around, like I'd been watching this Trump shit for a minute on YouTube. I was following it every day and I was like, I think he's gonna do it. I think he's gonna do it. And all the Venezuelans like, nah, pura mierda. No va a hacer nada. Papito Trump no va a hacer nada. He's not gonna do it. And then bing bang, and it was done, dude. Dude, Boom is already there, dude. It's done. It's done, and it makes so much sense because in the podcast, he's talking like Elon Musk. He's like, dude, we need to do this shit efficiently. He's like, I understand that politicians want to get like their constituents jobs. He's like, but that's the stupidest way to make an airplane. Just because people in Kansas need to have a job doesn't mean they need to build my engine. He's like, we need to do it all in-house. It needs to be streamlined, just like a freaking car manufacturer.
Yeah. It's just tough from many perspectives, I think, but... for example, the union of the airline is going to find a way to either adjust and mold to this or fight it because look at the perspective that now they're advertising that it'll take less than half of the time New York to London.
Yeah.
But pilots are paid on an hourly basis.
Well, that's going to change.
And on a duty time. So then you're saying that's going to be day trips?
Yeah, but it's the same discussion as like when people start to worry about American truckers that 1 billion jobs are going to go away. Well, dude, efficiency rules over all. Like taxis don't exist anymore because we have Uber. There is self-driving cars. I literally just
Waymo.
Yeah, Waymo, but also too, like, I just borrowed my buddy's Tesla. We dropped off the King Air in Kinston, North Carolina, and then we had like an hour and 20-minute drive back to Raleigh.
Yeah.
And he was like, here, drive my Tesla. He's like, he punched it into the, the screen, and then he said, just click that button that says auto drive. And it did. It drove me all the way here. I didn't do anything. And I'm like, oh yeah, my niece and nephew, they're not going to learn to drive. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to get there in half the time because it makes more sense.
And the boom is cool, man. The simulator is cool. The flight deck is cool. Yeah. And they apparently really are leaning into putting in a tray table like they do on the Airbuses. So you're going to be flying supersonic over the ocean with a tray table and beautiful screens in front of you.
Yeah, dude, of course. And in 20 years, some kid's going to be like playing his iPad.
Yeah.
While he's flying the boom, and they're going to be the regionals of the world because Elon's going to have us going up and down in the rockets, dude. And we're going to go here to Tokyo in 45 minutes.
It was tradition in the Concorde that when they broke the speed of sound passing Mach 0.10, they would pop champagne. I hope they do the same thing.
Yeah, I know. And I heard that was all like, they had to flash it on the screen because you would never feel it.
Correct.
So
there's no difference.
Yeah, they just have to hype it up and be like, you're going faster than the speed of sound. Oh my God.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Dude, you know what's cool though is this one, it really hits home for me, and I really enjoyed that podcast because for a little bit I had a really dear friend who was working at the FAA, he was working as a contractor for the FAA, and they were redesigning airspace because they were kind of in charge of a lot of this like new drone implementation for like Amazon and other things, right? Like over in Africa, they have like a really cool system that they can. You've seen that
the launch
for blood, for blood and stuff. And so they were like in charge of kind of designing, revamping airspace, but then also like writing the legislation and all that.
Yeah. So
I interviewed there, and the guy was like, "Hey, he was like, there's a lot of writing in this job," and immediately I was like, well, I'm out. I was like, I can't.
You have to read?
I cannot write shit, dude. I can type? Dude, I can write an entire page from top to bottom in just one sentence.
ChatGPT, baby.
It's got like a bazillion commas and colons in there. Like, I don't know punctuation. But anyways, dude, I failed freshman grammar. I had to do freshman and sophomore grammar. And literally the lady just passed me because she felt so bad. She was like, you still don't know any of this shit. She's like, but I'm just going to push you along. It's called pushing along the trash.
Oh, my God.
Aaron just got home. Hey, sweetie. Did I do the bed okay? We got Chris on a port below bed. Chris said coming to our house is like going back to dorm life. It's just straight party as we drink our non-alcoholic beer.
It's nothing but a good time, yeah.
Drinking beer, playing Xbox.
And eating protein chips because Doritos apparently are out of style.
I know. We had our protein chips so that we could eat regular pizza.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, about Boom. Okay, so because I was interviewing at this company. Yeah, that's right. And so he was like, just write me about any kind of aviation thing that's like in, that interests you. And so I looked up some of the legislation for supersonic travel. And I was reading like actual legal documents that were saying like year by year how Congress would approve it and then the Senate would like block it. And then like the next set, like 4 years later, the cycle would go. And
now it went through.
It would flip flop. And then it was like Congress would disapprove, but Senate would approve. Correct. And I'm like, this is so fucking stupid. And the law that they were trying to overturn was supersonic travel over land.
Over land, yeah.
But it prohibited even testing. So like we couldn't even go out to like Nevada where there's no homes and set up the microphones, do all this shit. And then finally, in recent years, it got overturned, and now they're like, oh yeah, we have because that prohibits even innovation to try to decrease the boom.
Well, that's the whole thing with the boom. Yeah. Their name comes from, hey, we're trying to design something that significantly reduces the sonic boom.
Instead of a boom, it's a thump.
Correct.
Yeah.
So they compared it to if the boom is overflying where you're at, you're going to hear the thump of a closing of the car door.
Nice.
And that's what's the boom going to be when, historically, a sonic boom is strong enough to break eardrums, break glass in the surrounding areas, and infrastructure damage and all that stuff. So major advancements on it. So that's why I'm so hopeful for it.
I mean, I'm pumped, dude. And if you listen to this guy, he approaches it as like a tech guy because he how he's had an interest in aviation. And so he had a private pilot, and then he was like, I want to do this. And so when he did this, it kicked him off to be like, okay, let me go do instrument. I don't know if he did commercial, but he talks about it. Because he was also like, yeah, if I'm going to build like an aviation thing, I need to know my shit. So it's like nut up or shut up. But he does understand aerodynamics really well. And he attacks it as like a tech guy. And he goes, okay, when these fucking guys didn't want to build our engine for us, and then I really dove into the problem, and he was like, okay, well, it's going to be a 16-month wait. And it's like, why? Oh, because the only machines in the world that can CNC that metal, we've all sent it over to China, and they got a wait list because all these people. And he's like, well, can I not just buy the CNC machine? And I'll just fucking do it myself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, bro. He's the no fucks given, no. Mm-hmm. Like, he's like, I'm going to do a workaround and we're going to make it happen. Yep. And he said this, which at first it kind of threw me for a loop, but I was like, damn, dude, you're so right. And this was so true, like during the COVID time and then post-COVID for restaurants. Like, I felt like this next thing that he said hit home. He was like, at one point I had like 350 employees, and it made life harder because he was like, now I got to like coordinate with 6 different people, and these 6 people have to like figure out all their schedules so that we can get together and have a meeting about this one thing. And he goes, I cut my staff in half, and he goes, and we were more productive and more efficient than we were with all the other people. He goes, because if you have too many people, then somebody could argue that we're understaffed.
Yeah.
Right? When you cut out all the fat, dude, everybody hustles hard because they're like, we know we're understaffed, but we want to fucking grind so hard.
Yeah.
And they get shit done. And he was like, instead now I only have to coordinate with 2 people, and then we can just, very easily facilitate meetings and things like that. And so I was like, wow, that's an interesting thought. Like, less people, more productivity, more efficiency.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blew my mind, dude. So,
but this has been studied. And this has been done. This is not they're not innovating in that regard.
Exactly.
Like, there's a group of pilots called the Skunk Works. Those are the guys in charge of making the SR-71 Blackbird and all these clandestine secret aircraft, right?
Yeah.
And part of their success was the fact that they got engineers, mechanics, and designers all in the same office to all speak the same language.
Yeah. They talk about that because they mentioned, I think it was like the F-16 or something, and they were like, oh, we're having trouble with our landing gear. And so then they spoke to some fighter jet guys, and they're like, oh, we'll just put like 2 struts. And they're like, what? And they're like, yeah, we had the same problem. And then on this fighter jet, we just put like 2 struts, and then it like, you can collapse the thing and it'll fucking never break. And he was like, oh, and their engineer was like, we never would have thought of that. Yep. And we just got like a huge shortcut. Mm-hmm. So exactly, like I'm telling you, it's too big to fail, dude. It is the future.
Yeah,
dude,
I'd sell my soul to fly that thing. United being one of the biggest investors, the number one investors for it.
In 10 years, dude, it'll still be like at a luxury level, but eventually it is going to be like a primal way of travel.
Yeah, that'll be amazing.
Yeah, 10 years, dude.
And because of the deck angle of how the angle of attack at which it lands, you're landing looking at the screens. You're not looking at the window outside. So you're trusting the cameras that they've installed for you to land this massive supersonic aircraft seeing through screens and not outside the window, which is a shift of mentality, but pretty cool. Pretty cool.
There's that one comedian, you've probably seen the thing on Instagram where he's like, yeah, the windshield. He's like, that doesn't really matter.
That's optional.
He's like, we just put that for the passengers so y'all feel safe. He's like, we don't use that.
Yeah, the comedian. That's the comedian. Yeah, I love that. I love that.
So funny.
The window's arbitrary. It's for the passengers. Yeah. That's arbitrary.
So
and
funny.
they know every single button.
Yeah. Dude, so I interviewed a line tech for an airline up in Canada. Really nice mechanic, and he was telling me that one time he had the overhead panel of a 737, like all of it was like down so that he could access the wires and stuff.
Yeah.
And one of the passengers got, because the door was still open, and he was like, in that moment I learned that we had to close that door, because this passenger in like the 3rd row saw that, and it freaked him out so much that he ran off the plane.
Yeah, that's like mechanics putting speed tape over the engine covers and stuff. Like, are they fixing it with duct tape?
Yeah.
No, man, this roll of tape could cost more than the wheel of your car.
That's that lady on the Spirit Airlines. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord, get me out this airplane. Jesus, they fixing it with some duct tape.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. No, it's speed tape. It's totally different. 1 hour and 51 minutes.
2 hours of this. Dude.
Yeah. Now you see how it could happen on Rogan,
Oh
dude.
my
You know,
God.
you just sit there, like 4 hours go by, and you're like, what?
For real.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I guess your job becomes longer, more snippets to find.
Oh man, a gazillion.
Bing bong.
All right, goodbye for now.
All right, goodbye, peeps.
Clear to land, wind 280 at 7 knots.